Tyler the Creator, Chromakopia, let's jump straight into it. So the key when it comes to Tyler the Creator, I think, are 3 different things. One is jazzy chords. You're always gonna hear those 7th and 9th chords especially. Second thing is a lot of sounds, a lot of textures going on, a lot of chaos, a lot like Tyler himself. And then the third thing, heavy drums. We're gonna start off, we're gonna work at 180 beats per minute. And what I wanna do is build up a really good drum pattern first. As someone that makes a lot of boom bap especially, I have a really big catalog of drum breaks. You can get them anywhere on the internet, Splice, Reddit, you name it. So here we've got this snippet of a break, and obviously it's off time, it's not looping perfectly. So really easy to fix, especially in Ableton. You just got to find the markers and you can just drag it to where they need to be. So if we just do that. Doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, when it's a drum break, you don't really want it to be perfect a lot of the time. So now we can copy it over 4 times, and that's going to be our foundation. And now I'm going to layer my own drum sounds on top of it just to thicken them up, make them a bit more unique and be able to add more textures to it. So then all I'm going to do is hit record and try to layer just a kick, a hat and a snare, and then we can draw in some more notes of perks afterwards. So obviously not perfect, but we can just go in and take the bits that sound good. And then with a bit of fiddling, this is what we've got now and how it sounds by itself. So nothing too fancy, but when it's layered with the break, you get something more full, a lot more modern sounding. Perfect. Now I want to layer another break, but use it more for like perk sounds in the higher end. So again, you can just try to find perk loops, breaks, whatever, and just EQ as you need to. Excellent. Now before we move on from the drums, I just want to add in one perk sound. For this, I've got a Tyler Creator pack, which you've got a lot of sounds, a lot of samples that he's used. You can get this on the internet for free. I'll put the link in the description. And I just want to find a little perk sound to throw in to the drums every now and then. Now we can move on to the melodic stuff. So I've got a really clear idea in my mind of how I want this beat to go. I want it to be really heavy, and then in a sort of breakdown or bridge section, the jazzy chords can come in and it becomes a bit softer. So this might work as a sort of bass re-synth type of thing. And for this bit, I don't really need a progression. I just want to hit that single note. From here, like I said, you can just add in lots of layers to hype things up. I'm talking sound effects, lasers, sirens, vocals. First thing I want to do though is a siren. I can just hear siren being the perfect thing for this. Then lasers, something you hear in a lot of the up-tempo beats from Tyler especially. Now going into more melodic sounds to build this hype up. In the new album you hear a lot of brass, that's a big recurring theme throughout it. So we can just throw in like a horn. Again, just going to this Tyler the Creator pack, there's literally horns and brass here. So of course, as always, I'm using a lot of analog lab for all my synth sounds. Plan here is just to record lots of little like licks and melody lines that can come in throughout, causing that chaos. We can do a lot of processing to them as well, make them sound a lot more like trippy. See, that arpeggio we just recorded might sound better in this. Maybe just to process it, we can try like Portal, which again, for creating like trippy textures and stuff like that, is always a good shout. If you need a lot of good presets, again, the internet, you can find so many good banks. Yeah, there we go. Organ sound is always a good shout. Again, in Tyler's beats, you can hear combinations of synthesizers and real instruments. And organs I tend to find are in all of his beats, whether they're like up-tempo or down-tempo. A little bit crazy, a little bit manic, and I'm not even sticking to like the scale anymore. I'm just playing whatever works in terms of the overall vibe. Now we can leave this as is for now and move on to like the bridge, breakdown, chorus, or whatever it's going to be, where it gets a little bit smoother and we implement some jazziness. We'll just use the synth that we've got in Analog Lab here. Now I mentioned 7th and 9th chords in the intro. That's a big thing in these Tyler beats. Now if you're like me and you're not really good at music theory, it can be a little bit daunting trying to come up with a progression for something like this. You could use like MIDI chord progressions from packs and things like that, or just literally just try to find a random chord and just add on extensions. So as an example, if this is like an F major, just literally add on extra notes until it sounds like jazzier. That works pretty good. So you see, that's the F major. Turn it into an F major 7, A flat, oh yeah, I like that. Oh, that is the perfect progression. So it's not perfect, but we can fix it by just maybe layering the root note, giving it a much bassier lower end. Okay, now with a lot of fiddling, this is the chord progression I've come up with. And now for this section, again, we're just going to layer in some sounds, and I really want a vocal because I think Tyler, the Creator, does a really good job with layering vocals, especially female vocals, in like the harmonized parts like this in his tracks. So it's a pretty simple thing to do there, but I think it's really effective just having that, you know, harmonization. In terms of other sounds for this section, you can do a lot of things. You could layer in the bass or use this as a chance to switch the bass to like an 808 or a different sort of bass guitar type of thing, anything really. The good thing is, because we've got a lot of synths already loaded up, you can just use those same sounds to do different things for this section. Then again, just utilizing the tracks we've already got up, like the effects channels. So let's just throw in random like synth effects. So as far as the track goes, this is essentially all we need. You can go ahead and keep adding more like effect sounds, more perk sounds, more little melodies and little phrases and things like that. And then that will help you with the arrangement especially. If you enjoyed this video, check out my previous Tyler the Creator tutorial where I made one of my favorite beats ever. You can check that out right here. Thanks for watching. Peace out.